Well, Alex, season 2. Sounds a bit posh.
See, posh.
Season 2, episode 1.
Yeah. I know. I didn't think we'd make a full season, but season 2, here we come, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah, we got there in the end. Well, everybody, welcome to Tales from the Tackle Shop. We are literally doing it from the tackle shop today.
Yep.
Alex likes to place me in positions of very extreme circumstances, so we are sat in the corner of the clothing and baggage area.
Yeah. In the mess corner at the minute. Got too much stuff everywhere. But this year we need plenty of stock because it's fishing's really taken off.
It's been brilliant, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And we will touch upon this shortly. Okay, just so everybody knows, season 2 is going to have a similar format to last year. We'll have plenty of guests on, obviously all the weekly match results.
Yeah, we're sort of right time of year again, aren't we? So it's the matches are just starting now. So yeah, we'll have plenty to report on.
Cool. We are trying to branch out slightly. For those that do know, I've tried to be in touch with some famous people in fishing. So Carl and Alex, the YouTubers, I sent them a message. Sadly, they ignored me, but we're trying. Yeah. We've got lots of other people lined up to come onto the podcast. And something else I was thinking, I've actually got in place for this year, is we're going to try and have some local heroes on. So people who do all the unsung work with local angling clubs, with coaching and that type of thing. So we've got some local angling coaches coming on, we've got some club secretaries and so forth and so on. So we'll try and get a lot of local people on the show, and we'll try and get people from a more national background as well. Other topics that we need to cover as well. Now, we've got something called the Finland Guardian Scheme, which is going to be launched very soon, and I'll talk about that in the next podcast. And that's going to be very poignant for us where we live in our area of Finland. We're going to touch upon problems we've had with poaching, illegal fish removal, and the out-of-season angling, which was quite prolific this close season, sadly, particularly with the COVID. We need to mention about fish kills, because sadly we had a few locally. Something that is really to the fore is Hoverton Great Broad Scheme, whereby the Environment Agency are granting a permit for a barrier to be set up, issue that's ongoing, so we need to talk about that. And also, I saw today that there was the latest assessment of the state of our water environment, which is not great, so we can touch on those as we go through the autumn. Now, Alex, we had 2 questions that we posed ourselves from the last episode in season 1. One of them was, when will we be fishing again with the COVID? I think you said beginning of June, and I think I said July. So we actually got back onto it in May, didn't we?
Yeah, May the 13th, I think it was.
Something about then, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It was. I think we was all expecting the announcement on the Monday for Boris to say, I think, another couple of weeks in full lockdown, and it was a bit more positive, especially as a business. It just gone mental, really. I had a sort of an inkling. Someone mentioned that in Holland, where the lockdown hadn't been as strict, that fishing had boomed massively, and it did indeed. So for the sport, it's been brilliant. But obviously, for the other side of things, it's not great at all. But basically, so many new anglers, which has been fantastic. In one way, new to the sport, but on the other hand, there's always a negative to everything. A lot of inexperienced angling, and the other thing, the fishing was said, you can go fishing, and a lot of people just thought, I'm just going to go down the river, that haven't been fishing for a long time, and people literally took it literally that they could go fishing, and there's all sorts of illegal fishing going on. Here was absolutely mental. We were selling out of pegs. It was good. It was really, really good.
Well, let's backtrack a little bit, because I remember when we first got into lockdown, I couldn't get in touch with you really. You were so busy here, weren't you?
Yeah.
You basically stayed in one of the cabins, so you were isolated.
Yeah.
And you basically stood here and started the online side of things first.
Yeah.
And you were so busy because people were furloughed. They were spending money on their hobbies, which was good for
Yeah.
shops.
Yes.
Then fishing was opened up, and you were awesome down there. You had a one-way system. You had yourself and your dad out the front.
Yeah, it was challenging, but at the same time it was worth it. First time ever we would have people, 10, 12 cars deep queuing at the gate, and it was like, right, 7 o'clock, let them in. So James let them in. They drive straight down the big farm track here. Obviously we've got no main road that we're blocking or anything, so it's completely safe for them to be waiting. Everyone drove in. We had a one-way system round the car park, and basically brought you out in front of the tackle shop and cafe, so you could order your bacon sandwiches, whatever, pay for your day ticket, and any bait and stuff like that you wanted. We had like a market stall out the front, so all your essential bits and bobs. In the end there was all sorts. It took us ages to get it all set up in the mornings, or people say, oh, have you got a so-and-so method feeder? And it'd be like, yeah, no problem. So running up and down them stairs, me and my dad got quite fit for a little while there, and you'd get a method feeder and they'd go, oh, sorry mate, I wanted that method, but can I have it in 30 grams? So in the end you were sort of guessing and bringing 3 things down instead of 1, so you knew you didn't have to go back up, and it was good. It's a shame obviously people couldn't come in the shop, because obviously the shop, a lot of people don't realise what we've got up here, and since then people have come in the shop and gone, wow, I didn't realise you had all this stuff here. So yeah, the fish were a bit like, whoa, what's going on, for a little while. The fishery fished exceptionally well. Obviously we carried on feeding them during lockdown every other day. We didn't feed them every day. Every other day we went round and put pellets in, and the fish had a good time. They definitely had a holiday this year, and since then we've had to highlight the rules a bit more, and go around and check a bit more, because there's a lot of inexperienced fishing, which is frustrating, but good that new anglers are coming into it. And then obviously sort of probably a month later we got the green light for match fishing, so we do a lot of matches here, and we do sort of rely on our match anglers all through the year. They come whether it's snowing, sunshine, raining, windy, these guys turn up. So we only felt it was right that we went back to the matches straight away. I mean, the way it was going with day tickets, we could sell the lakes out no problem whatsoever. We felt it was only right that we go straight back into matches. I know there was other venues that still aren't open now, they're just doing day tickets, which is fair enough, so
But I saw even on Facebook you were doing live draws the night before.
Yeah.
So
we're still doing them now. The first one we did obviously I was still staying here then, because the lodges weren't open. I think it was another probably 5 weeks before they could open. So staying on site, it was working brilliant. About 7:30, 8 o'clock we do a live draw. The key thing is to make sure you've got everyone booked in. Instead of obviously paying cash, we were using PayPal. People were doing that, so we knew who was booked in, which helped. And then live draw, we was getting attendances up. I think the most we had was about 85 on a Saturday, which is pretty good. I think the fact that a lot of fisheries didn't open up, so there wasn't as many venues to go, and that helped. So we were still selling the day tickets as if we would have been just normal day ticket, pleasure angler tickets, but it worked really well. A lot of the anglers like it, the fact that they know where they're going the next day. They can sort of prepare mentally, and they know if they've drawn magpie they need to put a trolley in, or if they've drawn jay they know roughly what rigs they're going to use. Whether they've drawn a peg that they need a feeder rod, they don't need to bring that, and it works really well, to be honest. They sort of ring round and speak to people they know that have been on the peg and done well before, so it's had its pros. They do it they use that live draw thing for Fishermanias and other big events, and when people are travelling a long way, I think the negative thing is a lot of people don't turn up if they've drawn a bad peg, and Whereas, because we're more local people fishing, they know the venue a bit more, and that we haven't really had many issues like that. So, which is great. You know, it's credit to the anglers that are fishing the open matches. Obviously, club matches work the same way. They obviously did their draws the night before, or however they wanted to do it. Kelvin made some social distance scales, so made them out of an old wheelbarrow, welded a big bar across, and like a frame that the bag goes on, and people come in, tip the fish, so there's only one person, the scalesman, touching the scales and the weigh bag, and that's been working really well. We're still doing that now. I think we're going to be doing it for quite a while, to be honest.
I was going to say, is that quite a good is it a better way for the fish to be weighed anyway, because you've got one person who knows what they're doing and they're just taking control of the whole situation?
In one way, yes, because, you know, pick the nets out, bosh them on, you know, and quick, do it, you know, fish it straight back. So yeah, I think it definitely does help. When you've got big weights as well, you need someone that's not going to struggle with the bags and lifting them up. So yeah, that's been really good, really. So yeah, credit to the match anglers, really. They've kept by the rules, haven't really been following the scales around, which is very hard, you know, when that's what you do.
It's part of the social scene as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, when we did the audio for the March Open last year, it was really good fun walking up and down the stretch, and everyone was following scales.
Yeah.
And the banter that was flying, and that's part of the social side. So it must have been quite a hard habit for people to break, I'd imagine.
Yes, I think that's going to be the real negative about match fishing, especially this winter. You've got the Winter League starting this weekend, and the social banter, the breakfast in the morning, the draw, you know, dishing a bit of bait out, and where you're drawing, oh, you need this, and you know, it's part of team fishing, and it's going to be hard this year. It's going to be definitely different. Everyone's going to have to pay on electronically. Pools will be paid out sort of week after.
Can you imagine if Spolk's still organising things?
Yeah.
People buy a carrier pigeon, wouldn't it?
Yeah. He'd be paying out in mitten crabs, wouldn't it? Yeah. But no, I think it's the only thing we can do. You know, it is a competitive league and serious league once again, and just for the amount of teams practicing before the first round, it's going to be a good league. It's going to be close at the end. It's just such a shame that we can't sort of all go back afterwards and have a chat. But that's a good thing about social media, isn't it? And WhatsApp groups and Facebook messenger groups and things like that. So still, you'll have that team ethic, I'm sure.
Well, it's gonna be a challenging time. That word's been used a lot, hasn't it? And the second question we had was actually, what changes will COVID make to the way we live, particularly the way we fish? You've just covered it all there perfectly. And from what you were saying, I didn't really understand. Well, I understood, but I think now that you've explained it better to me, I think the match angling this winter is going to be of an even higher standard, because if the live draws, say, done the night before, the teams are going to be really on the ball with this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if the Winter League. I don't think the Winter League will be the night before.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly how the draws are going to be done yet. But
can you imagine if it is? It's going to make everything really high quality.
Well, to be honest, a live draw isn't a bad shout. You know, I don't see how that can't work. Everyone can see, from all the team captains. Anyone can see where they've drawn the next day.
Well, I remember talking to you last year. Teams were taking massive amounts of bait to matches and divvying it up between themselves depending on who drew where.
Yeah.
So that would actually nullify that.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
It would. The other thing now is you've got anglers travelling from a distance, so they don't have to get up as early as they would normally to get there for a draw.
Yeah.
You know, if they know where they're going, there'll be a time that anglers can go down to their peg, say 8 o'clock, because normally that's when the draw is. So if 8 o'clock and you start at 10 or half 10, you've got 2.5 hours. Obviously, some anglers want to get there early and set up, and other anglers take 20 minutes to set up, so you can get there in your own leisure and set up and go from there. But yeah, it is going to be different. There's many ways of doing it and being safe. So, like for example, TID, they've had brilliant turn out to all their matches this year. They have like a rolling draw, which we did for the Finland feeder pairs, which we'll mention that later. Swingtip, and basically I think that's how the Winter League's going to roll. Like the practice matches, bit of like a drive through. Everyone pays on beforehand, or envelopes, whatever they want to do. Roll up, names ticked off. Someone draws the peg out in front of you. Right, Andy, you're peg free. Thank you, mate. Off you go. It's simple.
I think it's good that you've all taken it in your stride. You've been very flexible with it.
Yeah.
And it's been done safely. I think it's been really good. The match fishing scene in this country has just got on with it. It's been really refreshing to see people not whinge about it, just do it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a bit of a hoo-ha at the start when obviously the Angling Trust said, look, it's just no matches straight away and stuff like that. And to a certain extent, I know match anglers want to go match fishing, and me myself, I wouldn't want to go pleasure fishing unless I'm practicing for a match or something like that. But I think it was sensible to have that little gap before allowing matches, because people could assess the situation, how busy the venues have been. I mean, there was, the match anglers were coming down and having a pleasure session, enjoying it and getting out and getting their fix, and hats off to the Angling Trust or whoever was involved with it, because that is what they're there for.
Well, they had to do it in stages, didn't they? And they are the angling national governing body, and just to get angling back again was really good.
Yeah.
But they had to do it in a way, I suppose, to stop people from mixing.
Yeah.
Therefore, the match angling had to come second, which is just common sense. But something you touched upon earlier, that was all fantastic stuff from the Angling Trust. But somebody somewhere didn't click about mentioning about the close season.
I think,
and that was a big. I don't know. When you look back, this is the problem. It's far too easy to look back because this is unique, isn't it? And I think at the time everyone was just focusing on how to get things sorted, and I don't think anybody would have realised. I mean, I certainly didn't until a week after, when we had all the problems on the drains, where it just seemed that all and sundry had started fishing on all the rivers and drains when they were still in the close season was still in force. So
that just goes to show the inexperienced anglers that come out of the woodwork, didn't they?
Well, we found one guy walking down towards the 16-foot, had no clue.
No.
Genuinely
people didn't have a clue.
Yeah.
And it's a bit harsh, but they didn't, because it's like fishing. You're allowed to go fishing. Oh, right. Oh, my granddad's got a rod in the shed.
Exactly.
I'll go up there and get his rod, and I'll just go down the river and I'll mind my own business. I'll take a packed lunch. And then obviously the other thing is anglers were allowed to night fish, and that's when other problems come with that as well.
That's right, yeah.
But genuinely, a lot of people did not realise.
No.
I was people coming in the shop, and I was like, hello mate, you right? Yeah. Well, they weren't coming in the shop, sorry. They were coming to the drive-through, and I was like, oh, where are you off to? Oh, I'm going on the 16th. You're not, mate, because you're not till June the 16th.
But I've been told I can go fishing.
Yeah, I can go fishing. Yeah, you can, but you can't fish on natural venues. There's a close season, blah, blah, blah. It says on your rod licence or whatever. Oh.
And that
I can't go fishing.
That message got lost, didn't it?
It did.
But it wasn't made at all. And I think it's important not to blame anybody for that, because it's no one's fault. It was just one of those things. I think us in the know knew. So all the experienced anglers, and even people who don't go fishing, who knew about this type of thing, would have known.
Yeah.
But people have come back into the sport 20 years ago, even guys who picked up a rod for the first time, genuinely did not have a clue. Conversely, there were groups of people who took advantage of the situation.
Yes,
and that's the problem that we had, didn't we? We had a massive problem locally whereby people abused that and actually actively went fishing in groups when it was still locked down. And you should have gone on your own, and they just abused the whole thing. So, bit of a shame that happened, because they just saw
but it's a shame really, because they sort of giving the anglers a bad press, leaving litter and stuff like that, which we don't need that. Angling wants to be seen to be positive, and in this circumstances to encourage more people. And the problem is landowners and things like that, if rubbish is left and they're just the access is going to become even harder to fish.
Well, I know Kingsland Angling Association had lots of problems, and bless them, they were trying to sort it out, and they had people camping
Yeah.
on the sections of their drains, and they weren't fishing.
No.
So technically, they had very little jurisdiction over them because they're not fishing. But yeah, they were trying to sort lots of things out that weren't directly linked to the angling club, and people were just blatantly abusing the social distancing rules in place, and yeah, that had another knock-on effect. So that we'll come on to all these things over the next few weeks, because lots of things have happened off this. But I think overall, from my perspective, the match angling community picked this up and just ran with it, and they still are. It's fantastic. And from the shop owner's point of view, just about every shop, not angling, but shops generally, have had to be very flexible. And I think everybody's getting a handle on it now. I know even today we've gone from level 3 to 4, so there's been a new announcement. I know you were busy checking what was coming on board, but you know that this is the life we're going to have for the next few months. Hopefully not for too much longer, but I think till vaccines get discovered and so forth, it's going to be for the short term. And I think we all just need to work together, and we can pull through this. And I think it's going to give other things are going to spin off it, which we never thought about it before. So, like I said, the live draw, the match anglers, it makes the team ethic even stronger.
Yeah.
In the background, if you can hear things, it's me and Alex are swatting flies as we talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think someone's opened the maggot fridge.
Yeah. I think they're just coming to the smell, probably.
What, me or you or both?
Probably me.
No, I think it might be both of us, yeah. But no, I think it's provided a massive challenge for society, but I think angling has dealt with it really well. And you're right, the Angling Trust has got to have a lot of credit for this. Right. Fishing so far then, Alex. I have popped into the shop probably 5 or 6 times, and I haven't stayed for very long, and I felt a little bit guilty because I wanted to talk to you about things. You have been so busy here, like run off your feet and doing really long hours. I would imagine you haven't had much chance to go fishing.
No. To be honest, I didn't really feel like fishing. Long days, eat, live, breathe, fishing. You see everyone going fishing, and to me now, I pick and choose where I want to go and stuff like that. I do enjoy my natural venue side of things, and obviously the first opportunity for me to get out was the feeder series, which is, you know, is perfect for me. I can put the rods in the bag, it's a chilled out draw, got plenty of time to set up. The fishing wasn't particularly very good this year, but it was brilliant just to chill, not got loads of top 5s out, and it was friendly, you know, it's a good bit of banter, anyone can win, and it was good. So yeah, I had 3 rounds there. I did a couple of trips on the Broads, which I haven't done particularly very well at all, to be honest.
You're made of money. Look, you're dropping notes out of your...
Oh yeah, and not done particularly well on the Broads. Fished the pairs with Steve Harwood, and we were just out of it. But
so everyone listening, all that noise in the background you can hear is notes out of Alex's pocket.
Yeah,
that's probably where the flies have come from.
Yeah. And so fishing hasn't been great, to be honest. I haven't had time to prepare. Mentally, I mean, I did look forward to fishing the Broads and that, and did as much prep as I could for that, but it's not the same. You know, when you're fishing these matches, you have to be on it, if you know what I mean. You can't just pick it up and just go. But now it's my time now. It's slowing down a bit, and the weather's still beautiful, which is great for the business side of things. But Winter League, we can get into that. We've got 12 weeks now, fingers crossed, that we can do the Winter League, and that's what I enjoy. Do you know what I mean? That's why I go fishing. And Loch Ken, I've got Loch Ken just come back.
You had nearly a week there, didn't you?
Obviously Ireland, I would normally have been in Ireland for 2 weeks, and that got cancelled. So I thought I've got to get away for a week. And a good friend of mine, Martin Green, said, well, there's one at Loch Ken, little 3-dayer. So me and Gav travelled down, had a couple of days practicing with Martin, and yeah, I enjoyed it. The fishing wasn't as good as it has been. They had a little August bank holiday festival and £100 of silverfish won it over the 3 days, so that suited me. Enjoy that sort of fishing, and I had 2 days where it was decent fishing. The last day I didn't draw particularly well, was behind, and in a weight festival catching £8 or £9 on the pole ain't going to do you any good, so sort of had to sit it out a bit more on the feeder and hope that a few skimmers appeared, and that didn't happen. But you know, it fished alright still.
It's also getting out of the workplace and having some time to yourself.
Yeah, and it was totally different fishing.
Yeah.
Like the pole side of things wasn't like fishing for roach and bits and bobs, but the feeder thing, totally different. Didn't work that out. Obviously didn't work that out. Bit of a sort of mind blowing, really.
In what way was it different?
Well, obviously they use 2 hooks up there, which is very different. Yeah. I didn't use 2 hooks, but everyone else did, to be honest.
So what type of rigs would you use?
Well, you just use the same rigs, but obviously you have like a long hook length, because a lot of the skimmers, there's so many crayfish in this venue, and pike as well, millions of pike. But the crayfish really make it different to any venue I've fished, because normally if you're fishing for skimmers, you're mincing worms for a feeder and catching like that, worms on the hook, but as soon as you feed any worms, you tend to get crayfished out. And then you speak to some people and they start putting some worms in and catching a few skimmers, so you have to keep chopping and changing. You'd use slightly heavier feeders than you'd normally use, even though you're probably chucking 50-60 metres. I think the trick is to use a heavier one so it goes in with a proper crash, do you know what I mean? Hardly any bait in your feeder as well. I think if you put too much bait in, you tended to get crayfished out. And maggots for the hook, 2 or 3 maggots.
So with the
2 hook rig.
So you had like a point.
So yeah. You'd have your normal feeder setup, and then you'd have like I don't know, a 2 metre hook length.
Yeah.
Which would be sort of Maxima.
Yeah.
Something that's not going to twist up, more durable. And then you just tie. Well, the best way I've seen people do it was just to tie a knot where you're going to put your short shock leader, and then basically lasso the line up a small hook length over the top of the Maxima and push it up to the knot. That way it doesn't slip down. And yeah, I see, you know, some anglers catching a skimmer on the short hook length, and then other anglers catching it on the long. I didn't see any double hookups.
I suppose you could do the first hook, the one in the middle, say for argument's sake,
yeah,
like a drop shot.
Yeah, basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically the same.
That is different, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't do any of that around here.
No.
It was quite strange. Obviously you can't use fish meal. Well, you can, but I think if you use fish meal ground meat, you get played by crayfish.
Yeah.
Never seen as many crayfish in my life. You know, you're not meant to put them back. You're meant to dispose of them. So as soon as you get to your peg, all you can see is crayfish claws behind you. It was mental. And obviously I think the pike, it must eat them as well.
They must do, yeah. I was having a chat with Spolt last year about this, and I think pike are going to pick them up, particularly when they're the mitten crabs as well, particularly when they're shedding their shells.
Yeah.
They must be like easy pickings for them.
That's another subject. I know a lot of venues up and down the country are getting plagued by mitten crabs. The Trent, for example. We've had them in this area quite a while now, but I think there's a hell of a lot more than there used to be.
Yeah. Trent's done 2 20-pound barbel this season.
Yeah. Trent's been phenomenal, hasn't it? The amount of anglers on it is mental as well.
I saw a picture. I don't know where it was. I want to say Collingwood Weir, but I don't think it was.
Yeah.
It was a stretch, and there were anglers queuing behind anglers who were
That would
fishing.
be Collingham, yeah.
Collingham,
Yeah.
to get into their swim.
Yeah.
And they were literally just queued up behind them, and I just thought, that's mental.
Mad fishing. I mean, the rivers, to be honest, when they opened up, they were fishing fantastic, because there was an influx of anglers. There was more anglers on the bank. People were sort of seeing how busy the commercials were and thinking, cool, I'm not really liking how busy this is. I'm going to go on the natural venues and spread out a bit and go early. And and this and that. And the bream catches at the start of the season were phenomenal. You know, relief channel, cut off channel, 20 foot, 40 foot. All the drains were fishing brilliant. And I think the fish took a bit of a battering early, and it's definitely affected the fishing, because there seemed to be a real high and then a lull. And now it's the time of year for the silverfish, you know, the roach and the smaller fish to start feeding a bit more, and anglers target them a bit more.
I think the water
and
temperatures
starting
as
going
well.
back up again, you know, the catches.
Yeah.
So definitely, I think the actual fishing result side of things did dip in the middle there, I think, from angling pressure.
Well, let's just talk very quickly about the feeder challenge that you set up, because it was really well run, and I really enjoyed it. I haven't match fished since for 34 years.
Yeah. Well, that is the whole reason why we do it as it is, because, like yourself, you could turn up with your swing tip and try and compete.
Yeah,
and
it was good fun.
It's anyone's. Do you know what I mean?
What was nice, I took my van, didn't I? And I was cooking burgers at the back. We were trying to socially distance, which we did really well. And I got to know a few people, one or two people that I'd seen a long time ago. Saw them again, some new faces, and everybody was really, really friendly. It was really nice to take part.
Yeah.
And it was just really good fun fishing. And what was really nice, I kept drawing next to the same guy, and I've forgotten his name.
Steve Hansted.
That's the one.
Hansted.
What a lovely man. And
they won it, him and partner
did
James,
they? Yeah. Steve Hansted, that's right.
Yeah.
And
he won it when he sat next to you.
He thrashed me.
Yeah.
But it was great sharing a bit of we were talking about what was happening in the stretch and the swims, and just it was nice to share a bit of information, really. Anyway, let's go back to the first match.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get a chance to do the swing tip versus baits challenge because of COVID. But I did use a swing tip, and you were drawn 8 pegs away from me.
8 or 9 pegs, yeah.
Yeah. What did you end up with?
2 something, 2.14.
£2.14 and a half.
Yes.
What did I get?
£3 one.
£3 on the nose.
Did you?
On the tip.
Yeah.
I'm claiming.
How did you get on around you?
No, I'll beat you.
No.
Yeah, I did.
No.
I did. I'm claiming victory for that one.
No.
And I think I came third in my section that day.
3rd out of 5. Ain't too bad, is it? But it's like chalk and cheese. Like, that's what I was trying to explain anglers on rivers and stuff like that. It may only be 5 pegs away, but you might as well be 2 mile away.
Do you know what I discovered?
It's
my gear is so old and out of date.
Yeah.
The tip's a great thing to use when you're pleasure fishing, but in matches, it was so darn difficult to hit that extra yardage consistently. I could do it, but I was starting to use braid and shock leaders and so forth. It was just like the method became too difficult to use with the extra bits that you needed. So I think I had to concede in the end that to fish it again next year, I'd have to invest in a couple of feeder rods.
Yeah, I don't know. You could draw on the fish and quite capable catching as many bream when they're there, you know, but when the fishing's a bit more trickier and you're fishing for lower weights, then definitely the gear does make a bit of a difference.
Massive, yeah. I mean, the second match against Steve, when I sat next to him, he completely outfished me, and it was just I'm not going to tell people what he did because it wouldn't be fair to him, but what he was doing was really clever, and just the way he went about the whole thing, and he kept picking up those bonus fish. So these bream, they actually were just to his left, and I think they came for our swim towards the end because I had a couple of line bites in the last half hour. So the bream were about, and he picked 3 up in that second match, but he consistently caught these skimmers, and that was the trick, was getting the skimmers and any bonus fish that came across. But there were people further down through the same section were doing just as well, and they were just slightly off them. It was really interesting fishing because it wasn't easy, but the anglers who were thinking about it and ringing the changes, they were continually catching, which was interesting to know. So yeah, that was brilliant fun. Of course, I couldn't fish the third one because we did the World Predator Classic on Grapham, and it was really too hot, and pike were banned from the competition, which was great, but the whole place shut down. I think over 2 days there were 105 anglers fishing, or 106, 105 because one of the guys was on his own. So 2 days, it's 210 anglers, and only 12 zander were caught.
Mad, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was basically a perch competition, and yeah, we didn't fare too well, but that's for another day. from my own perspective, the rudd fishing's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
I've had quite a few nice rudd out of the drains, and that's one of the things that we've noticed the last few years, isn't it? The quality of the rudd fishing is fantastic, and every drain's got 2.5, 3 pounders in.
Yeah, they're all over, aren't they?
Yeah, you just got to find them. That's the only thing. Once you find them, you get them feeding on bread on the surface. They're like little piranhas. It's incredible watching them start smashing through the bread, but you just got to find them. I've had a few nice had a few nice zander on lures, but the water temperature got way too hot, way too quick, so I just stopped doing that. On the drains, it's just not good for predator fishing at the minute. I think on the drains, I should probably start end of November again, because it's just simply too warm. It gets too deoxygenated, as we saw last month with some of the fish kills. But I think it's going to be an interesting season. It's about making the best of what's about, and really getting out there and enjoying it.
Yeah. No better time, really, is there?
No, I love
self-isolation on the riverbank.
Yeah.
Or wherever you're going. That's the beauty about fishing it. You can get out of it what you want. You know.
I'm looking out the window now at your tackle shop, and every time I've popped down here recently, the fishery's been so busy. It's absolutely incredible how many people are back into the sport, and it's all got to bear well for the future.
All ages as well, which is good.
Yes. Well, since we've been trying to record in here, we've had the 2 20-year-old lads come up, weren't there? There was obviously the elder generation and there was one guy who said he hadn't been fishing for 15 years. Yeah. It's good, and I think there's lots of positives that have come out of COVID. And
I think fishing is definitely one of them.
It is.
You know.
Yeah.
We'll see next year.
Retention.
I don't think this thing is going to go away very quickly. I mean, they keep saying about a vaccine and things like that, but is there a vaccine for flu?
Well, there is for one strain, isn't there?
Strain,
but there's so many strains. Yeah.
So, I think we've got to learn to deal with it and get on with it a little bit and be careful. But I think fishing is, if it stays like it is, I think fishing will boom again next year, because it's something for people to do. Safe, isn't it?
It is, yeah, and it has. Well, you've seen the trade has gone through the roof.
Yeah.
It's been awesome, and hopefully that continues. And on a final note, really, depending on what happens with the COVID rules, we may have to do the podcast via phone calls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a possibility over the next few weeks. So I apologise to everybody today with the background noise, but we thought we'd do it in the tackle shop for a change. But we thought we had a lull, and then we had a lot of people come in, and we were trying to turn the recording on and off around all the customers. But obviously we try to make it a bit more real. But I think the next few weeks, Alex, we'll see what's going to happen, and we may have to do it by phone call, which it's not the end of the world. We'll just get on and do it.
No.
But we can just keep everybody updated with what's happening locally, and then, as I mumbled my way through earlier, we'll touch on some bigger topics as well, and see if we can get 1 or 2 people involved on the podcast who are far more knowledgeable about those than ourselves. Have you got any results that you wanted to?
Not really, no. Obviously, there's been matches over the summer. There's big matches. They've still got the Riverfest final to go on. Obviously, you've had Fisher Mania final this year. Maven match this will be next year now. Golden Reel final was the other week, which we had quite a lot of the local anglers in it, which just goes to show the standard of anglers in this area. And it's frightening how many there's good anglers all over the country, but there's some exceptionally good anglers in this area in the match side of things. And I think as we go through, there'll be more and more matches. Hopefully the weekly Ramsey matches will come back, and we've got the March Opens to look forward to, all being well, and it's look forward to it, mate. Really.
Well, we'll just keep everybody updated with what's going on. We'll try and give everybody a week's notice with the podcast.
Yeah,
and we'll go from there. Well, that's great. It's lovely to get back on the air, so to speak. We've tried to record this one a bit earlier, so we're a bit more organised, because it's normally a Monday night rush for us to get something out for the Wednesday. People out there, if you want us to try and get different guests on and you've got contacts, just let us know and we'll try and get people on. We've had several people been in touch with us about the possibility of having different people on, which has been awesome. Any questions, just as per normal, let us know and we will try and answer them as best we can. Alex, we're back. First episode. Anything else you would like to add?
Not really, mate. Just hopefully we can be a bit different from last year and still offer that local Finland feel to it. And yeah, I mean, from feedback from last year's podcast has been great. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it is what it is, isn't it? It's just a bit of banter and hopefully a highlight, and people can learn stuff from it as well. So we'll go into season 2. Hopefully we won't run out of ideas that we can cover and do things a bit different. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate.
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head. We've got loads to discuss. We've been quite politically correct today. Maybe depending on what happens over the next few weeks, we might delve a bit deeper. But it's all about promoting Finland fishing, and it's about keeping local anglers abreast of what's going on.
Yeah.
But we do have to touch on national things as well. And you're right. It's about, if we just keep everyone updated with what's happening. We've had some lovely comments back end of last season when we finished off. People were really enjoyed the podcast, so we hope we can offer the same again this year. And like I said, we'll try and fairly similar format, but we'll try and spice it up a tad. Alex, it's been brilliant. We are covered in flies. We've got so much kit around us.
It's your cup of tea, that's what it is.
I finished it earlier.
That's why they're here, isn't they?
Yeah, I did put some aftershave on earlier.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that's attractive. Yeah. Right, we're going to wrap it up. This has been Tales from the Tackle Shop, a Finland Fishing TV production.